Hi everyone, thank you for watching today's video. Today I'm going to share with you 10 tips on how to overcome performance anxiety. I'm losing my voice apparently. Today I'm filming again on my phone. I did not have time this week to edit anything fancy. My schedule is ridiculous, but I'm getting things done and I have some pretty exciting stuff to share with you guys soon, so that's exciting. Now about this topic, overcoming anxiety, I have to be honest, I can't say that I've actually overcome my anxiety completely, but I've never let this anxiety ruin a performance because I followed these 10 things. And there are plenty of other things that you could add to this list. It's different for everyone, but these are the 10 things that have saved me for pretty much every single performance. And I always have people come up to me afterwards and say, wow, like you look so confident up there. Do you not get nervous? And I'm thinking, yeah, of course I get nervous, but I know how to work through it. So that's what I'm going to share today. And the first one is you just need to practice performing. You need to practice being in front of people as often as you can, in front of as many people as you can. And your body and your mind just start getting into this routine of how to deal with stress and anxiety, and it just becomes not that big of a deal anymore. You just start getting used to it. The second tip is to just be prepared. This is kind of obvious, but you would be surprised at how many people just kind of procrastinate and float by, just float along in their practice time, and then they get to the performance and they're under the stage lights in front of everyone and they're thinking, oh no, I am not as prepared as I thought I was. So of course, there's no such thing as being 100% prepared, but the main thing is that you do your best and you just want to at least have the peace of mind whenever you're on stage of, yes, I know that I did my best. And honestly, just having that peace of mind is even more important than necessarily being perfectly prepared. You just need to have that assurance in your heart that you did your best and that you did the right thing. The third tip is in terms of memorization. If a piece is memorized, make sure that it's in your mind, not just your muscle memory. Whenever you get on stage, the muscle memory, for some people maybe it works, but I have seen time and time again where students will, they'll get through the piece fine by memory before the concert because they're just relying on what their fingers know. They're just used to, okay, this is what my fingers do, easy, I'm just gonna trust these. And then whenever they get in front of people, the nerves completely destroy any muscle memory that they have. And so if the piece is not an image in your mind, and if you cannot clearly see very important notes and very important bowings, and my old teacher used to call them fence posts. If you can't see those in your mind, I am so sorry for you in this performance because it will probably not go that well. You have to be able to see that. And of course, you're not going to have a mental image of the entire piece, but if you have those important ones, then your muscle memory can kind of fill in the gaps in between those big, important places to remember. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I memorize, and that's what gets me through performances. The fourth tip is to breathe and stretch beforehand. This, of course, is going to, help you play more musically, and being relaxed physically should help you internally as well. Even if you are a mess inside, stretching physically should help calm that, just taking deep breaths. Any of your, stretches that you do every day. This is a good point. I'm glad I thought of this. Whenever you practice, you should be stretching every day before you actually sit down and practice. Whenever you stretch, that should be a familiar part of your everyday practice. And so whenever you do that before a performance, it should kind of settle you and trick your body into thinking that this is just another practice session. This isn't any kind of big deal. The routine of it should kind of calm you down. At least it does for me. Oh God, and I can't edit this out. I'm okay. All right. The fifth thing is to eat a banana. Don't laugh at this advice. It's very helpful, and I eat a banana every single time before I perform. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I have heard that bananas, because of the potassium, If I am misinformed about that, please let me know in the comment section below. But I believe that the potassium is what helps calm your nerves down. What number is this? 6th tip is to smile beforehand and smile when you're playing. So even backstage, if you can just start smiling and get yourself excited and emotionally ready for this, it should help just prepare you mentally as well. And then whenever you are playing, if you smile, not only does it help to relax you, but it also shows the audience that you're enjoying yourself, that you're being confident, and it will make them more receptive to what you're offering. And again, I'm not a scientist, not a doctor, but I have heard that smiling actually releases, if I get this wrong, don't laugh at me, endorphins into your body. And so just by that one physical motion, you chemically change yourself into feeling better. So smile more and it should help your playing. But of course, if you're playing some melodramatic, like angsty cello solo, don't be smiling while you're playing that. Make sure that it fits the mood of the piece, but you know what I mean. Tip number 7 is to remember your motivation. Whenever I'm in front of people, what messes me up inside mentally is to start thinking about myself and how they perceive me. That is a very dangerous road. I would not suggest going down that particular path. The best thing to do is to just completely pour yourself into the music, pour yourself into the beauty of the moment, and remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. This is not about you. This is not about receiving recognition or anything like that. This is just you're giving something beautiful to someone else. And if you focus on that, you're not going to be as nervous. You're not focusing on how you feel and how anxious you are. You're just focusing on, this is what I love, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to give this to someone else. And that really helps. Tip number, 8. This is number 8. Is to stay focused beforehand. I really try to not talk to anyone else or listen to any other performers while I'm backstage. I just need to stay focused on what I'm doing. I'll either run through the piece in my mind beforehand, or I'll actually play on my instrument, but very, very slowly. And that helps to keep me calm and relaxed. But the main thing is to just not get distracted. Tip number 9 is, okay, this is hard. This is hard for me to explain. It's almost like you have to remind yourself of who you are and what your identity is. So before I go out on stage, I'm telling myself things like, you are talented, you are confident, you are pretty, you have good stage presence. And it sounds silly, but if you do that, you really talk yourself into believing that you are who you say you are. And so then you walk out onto the stage with poise and gracefulness. And whenever you sit down to play, I don't know, I wish I could explain it better. The audience can tell. The audience can tell if you're confident. Not only does it build you up in your confidence, but it makes the audience more open to receiving what you have to give, because they see you as a professional. They see you as someone who is in control of their mind and their emotions, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does. I hope it does. The last one is to hold on to a statement or a phrase that's going to help you in that specific moment. So one of my fellow musicians in college, I remember he told me once, he would always repeat this phrase to himself: this is too important to mess up. I cannot allow myself to mess up, and I will not allow myself to mess up. It's just too important. That helped him. It might help you. One of my professors, she told me, before every performance, it was, I acknowledge the nerves, I acknowledge the anxiety, and I accept it, and then I embrace it and I use it. Because, I'm sure that you all have heard this, but adrenaline can be used for good, not just to mess up your fingers or to hurt your memory. It can add a vibrancy to your playing, and it shows vulnerability. If you're bored while you're performing for people, I think that is an indicator that you should retire. The adrenaline is what reminds you that you're doing something brave and bold and meaningful. So, anyways, but yeah, whatever works for you. If there's a phrase or a saying that would help you to calm down in that moment to remind you what you're about, then come up with something very concise and memorize it and just get into a habit of saying it over and over again before you get out on stage to perform. That is all that I have for you today. Thank you for watching. I hope that this helps, and as always, love what you do, practice well, share it with others, and keep an eye out for next week's video.